Hey everybody, my name is Christopher Fulmer and I am a vitamin B6 toxicity survivor. Today is my 2-year, 24-month anniversary of healing. So I thought I would do a little video for you guys to talk about my journey some on getting to this 2-year mark, a day that I honestly thought would never get here, and I'm sure a lot of you are the same way. A little bit of background about myself. I am an actor and a musician, but I'm also a environmental health and safety professional, but my primary job is I'm an industrial hygienist and an industrial toxicologist. So I study how chemicals affect people in the workplace, mainly hazardous materials, how people are exposed to them, how they interact with their body, how they cause them to get sick, and then how to keep them from getting sick from toxic chemicals and materials, which makes me being a vitamin B6 toxicity survivor very ironic because of my job. So I'm a scientist, hence the shirt. Science, but also I'm wearing this fit for our website, Understanding B6 Toxicity, which we focus on Western medicine and science and healing. So this 2-year mark anniversary, how I never thought I would be here. My toxicity journey started 6 years and 6 months ago. Actually, today is 6 years, 6 months, and 20 days. In October 2018. Started getting my symptoms then, and it started honestly with my hands becoming arthritic. I was on a solo acoustic tour in Florida, woke up one morning and my hands were very, very stiff and hard to function. And playing guitar, I'm a guitarist and a singer. My hands are important. And that concerned me, but I carried on, didn't think anything of it. Random symptoms would happen, and I started getting sciatica pain when I was running, all this stuff. But I thought it was just getting old. Anyway, for years and years before then, I was healthy. I ran half marathons, kind of handful of half marathons. I exercised every day. I tried to stay on a pretty good diet. I did drink a lot. I'm a musician, but I took all my vitamins. I ate chicken broccoli rice and all this kind of stuff. So I tried to be very healthy as possible. I took a lot of vitamins every day. So when this happened in 2018, I thought it was just, I don't know, getting old age. But I'm not that old. Anyway, flash forward couple weeks later, I started waking up in the middle of the night with panic attacks, thinking I was having heart attacks. It almost went to the ER a couple of times, but would force myself back to sleep, shaking it off, checking my vitals, and everything's okay-ish. But I would wake up the next morning, down my pre-workout, take my vitamins, and go run. And then come home, feel good all day, come home at night, panic attacks, heart symptoms, feet ice, and it just progressively got worse. And then in December 2018, I came home one night from a trip. I went out of town, day job trip. I traveled all over the country. Came home, went to go to bed, and just started getting full body shivers. Like I was hypothermic, very cold, shaking. It almost felt like I was having a mild seizure all over my body, and I couldn't stop. And I was covering with blankets. It was hot inside my house, but here I am freezing to death. My mom, who was staying with me at the time, woke her up and said, we got to go to the emergency room. Go to the emergency room, of course. All my vitamins are great. Everything's great. It's stress, anxiety, go home, rest. And it got better. It would last 30, 45 minutes and then get better. Then happened a few more nights at a movie, which just started shaking all of a sudden. I was with one of my best friends and her husband, and was like, see, here it is. I'm shaking for no reason. And she was kind of freaking out. And I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong. And I burped, and it all went away, which was weird. But felt great, good for a week or two. And then was in Wisconsin, and was the start of my crazy journey. This was January 2019. And woke up one morning after I was training for a full marathon, but I was also doing multiple training events. I was training a company up there for hazardous materials and was teaching 16-hour days. Woke up, my back was like somebody poured lava down my back. I was getting anxiety. My hands were going numb. The only thing that would help would just be like curling up and taking Aleve, which is naproxen, which is an anti-inflammatory. Anyway, it was so bad that I went to a chiropractor the next day thinking I was pinching some nerves here. They cracked my back and made it worse. I had to fly home, went to the ER, nothing. Everything's great. Stress, anxiety. Went to a neurologist the next day. Neurologist did all sorts of tests and was like, dude, you're fine. Blamed it on alcoholism because I was getting neuropathy, which can be related to lifelong alcoholism, like 20, 25 years. I drank like 7-8 drinks a week. I mean, that's not alcoholism. But stress put me on Lexapro and sent me home. And about a week later, we did some more nerve conduction studies and some other stuff. I had some sensory nerve damage in my left leg, but I mean, that could be tons of different reasons. But it was just take your Lexapro, takes your anti-anxiety and depression meds, and you'll be good. And oddly enough, it got better. Lots better. For the next couple of weeks, I had hardly any symptoms. I felt amazing. I was running. Life was good, mainly because I stopped my supplements at that point. I stopped my pre-workouts. I just stopped everything because I was having some crazy symptoms. And since I felt good, a couple weeks later, I started doing everything again. I started working out. I started exercising, going back on my supplements. A couple weeks after that, into the end of February, it all blew up. Supplements were back. And my symptoms rapidly progressed. The burning in my back came back. Face going numb, visual issues. I was having coordination issues. I would try to reach for my cup and I couldn't grasp it. I was having balance issues. Full blown, everything you could think of, that MS, ALS, all these things. Go back to my neurologist, and she blamed it on being too smart because of my job, and I'm thinking too much into it, and anxiety. No. So I just lived with it for a year. Had all of 2019, I just she told me to keep taking my supplements, keep doing what I'm doing, and life would get better, and it didn't. It didn't get horribly worse, but it would get better. Then we'd get back again and random symptoms happening. And then towards the end of 2019, it kind of went away again. And life was back to normal. It was actually about August 2019. I was doing a lot of shows. Me and my band did probably 60 shows that year. I was traveling all over the country. I was trying to exercise and stuff, but symptoms went away. Until 2020, when we went into the pandemic and couldn't go to the gym, so I decided to start running again, start getting back on what I did before marathons, and I went back on full-blown pre-workout, energy drinks, supplements. World blew up again, and all my symptoms came back. Went to a new neurologist. He didn't find anything. We did every test you could think of. I did 2 MRIs, 2 CT scans, some blood work, nerve conduction studies. Everything showed all good. My MRIs were clear. Had a little bit of stuff right here that he said was from high blood pressure, but we're good. and we couldn't find anything wrong. And I basically asked for a new neurologist. Went to a third one, and he found some compression in my neck here in the MRI that the other neurologist didn't do. C3 and C4 had some compression. He said that explained half of my symptoms, not the other half. But it's just something I'm going to have to live with. That was it. 3 neurologists basically blowing me off. So that's what I did. I lived with it for another year. Then I started work at a hospital, children's hospital here, and was working a lot, walking a lot, stressing a lot, gaining more weight because I'm stress eating, not working out, and a lot of my symptoms started coming back again. And then about, I think that was 22, August 2022, my, basically I started getting some systemic autonomic symptoms that I'd never had before. My blood pressure was going all over the place. I always had a little bit of high blood pressure, high 130s, low 140s that doctors are just like, we'll deal with it later kind of thing. But I woke up in the middle of the night and it was 180 over 98, and it was just beating out of my head, beating out of my heart. I went to the ER, checked it out. By the time I got there, it was down to 158 over 90 something. And again, stress, anxiety. And it kept happening. It kept happening over a period of a couple weeks. It would just get high, and not that high, but it would get in the 150s, 160s. My resting heart rate sitting on the couch would be in the 90s, which normally sitting on the couch, because I run and exercise a lot, it's in the low 60s. Sometimes it would get down to the mid 50s if I'm just really chill. But now it's in the mid 90s, and I feel like I'm running sitting on the couch. Went to cardiologist, did nuke heart test, all sorts of heart tests, EKGs, multiple ECGs, and even my cardiologist said, and I was 47 at the time, I'm 50 now, don't tell anybody, but he's like, dude, you have the heart of a late 30s marathoner. It's in great condition. You're getting plenty of oxygen. Everything's great. I'm like, then why am I sitting here with my pulse rate going crazy and blood pressure all over the place? And he's like, I don't know. I can't figure it out. So I live with it again. Doctors kind of blow me off. Then in, I think it was February 2023, February 2023, I couldn't deal with it anymore. It was just all over the place. My heart's going crazy, lungs going crazy. I'm having sleep apnea issues. I'm waking in the middle of the night with my breath completely gone. Every symptom listed in our website, almost, short of like 2 or 3 that are specific to ladies, I had and I was dealing with, and it was just too much to bear. So I begged my primary care physician for another neurologist, one that would listen to me. And my primary care physician here has been awesome. Anytime I go in, we talk it through. He knows what I do for a living. We talk it through. There's been a few times I've been like, honestly, it feels like maybe it is a compression. He's like, okay, that's a pretty good diagnosis. Let's send you to an MRI. So finally, it's like, I need a really good neurologist that'll listen to me. He's like, okay, I have one more shot. I know a guy. So he sent me to Dr. B in Searcy, here where I live at. Dr. B, he's got a longer name, but we call him Dr. B. He actually sat with me for almost an hour, looked at my MRI, listened to me, talked about all my symptoms, went through the entire gist of it. From start to back, and he's like, okay, it doesn't sound like MS, it doesn't sound like ALS, it doesn't sound like your disc in there. He's like, I'm going to run some blood tests, a lot, and then we'll look at it. They took 7 vials that first time. This is the most blood anybody's taken from me. And I've had a lot of blood work for what I've done in my career. But and then I left, and a week later he called me, left a voicemail, and said I was teaching a class, and he's like, "Call me as soon as possible. We got your results back. I need to discuss them with you." I'm like, "Okay." Call him. Didn't even ask how you doing, blah blah blah. I was like, "Hey, this is Chris." He's like, "Do you drink energy drinks?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What do you drink?" And I'm like, "Well, I drink pre-workout in the morning. I might have a Red Bull in the afternoon. I drink a lot of coffee." But he's like, "Stop right now." I'm like, "Okay, why?" He's like, "You are extremely toxic for vitamin B6." And I'm like, "Okay." I know there's a couple of vitamins that you could get toxicity from, vitamin A and stuff. Never phased me about vitamin B6. And he's like, "Yes." What he told me, and I still don't have my actual readings, he's like, "You are 200 times the toxic limit." Actually, I think it was 200 times over RDA, but yeah, I was way toxic. And he's like, "Yeah, it's vitamin B6. Stop what you're doing, and then come in a couple weeks, and then we'll discuss steps forward." I'm like, "Oh crap!" So I come home, I do my research as a toxicologist, start studying it, and then start diving into what has vitamin B6 that I'm taking. I looked at my vitamins, I looked at my pre-workout, I looked at everything. Basically, I was taking 860% of the RDA every single day. I'd wake up, I would drink my pre-workout, which had like 300% RDA, I think. I would take my multivitamins, which had like 200%. And then I would drink my protein drinks and stuff like that. And then for lunch, I would have chicken, broccoli, and rice. And I ate a lot of sweet potatoes. I ate salmon and sweet potatoes, and just everything I was consuming was extremely high B6 because it was to be healthy. So what I was eating at the time was 860 something percent over the RDA every day for probably 10 plus years. I'd been taking those multivitamins, which was a men's 1-day sport. I've been taking them since I started running and exercising in 2009, 2010. I took them every day. One of my neurologists gave me vitamin B complex, and I was taking vitamin B shots at one time. Yeah, so I was poisoning myself and had no clue. So that was exactly 2 years ago today when I got that news and stopped. And I started my healing journey, which was May 8th, 2023, today. So since then, I have been on my healing journey, and this is what you guys really want to know. And I know this video is long, but I've never done this on here. I am a moderator and group expert. I've never really gone into my story a lot, but I've shared a lot. On my healing journey, I didn't find out this website until 4 months into my healing journey. I was raw dogging it in healing in the first 4 months. Basically just coming off B6, had a little bit of a honeymoon, and then recoil hit, which honestly, recoil wasn't that bad for me, mainly because my autonomic nervous system issues went away. And that's what I was worried about the most. My blood pressure kind of stabilized a little bit. The resting heart rate went away after about a month. So everything started coming down there. Other symptoms flared up, like my neuropathy went crazy. I missed that part. That was my final tipping point, was coming back from a flight from Peru in February. Neuropathy kicked up, and the whole right side of my body just went numb. Walk around the airport, and then the next day is when I called my doctor. So, but that kind of flared up during healing and things like that. But I was still eating chicken, broccoli, and rice. I was still taking my vitamins and stuff like that. I just stopped pre-workout. I stopped the B6 vitamins, but there was other vitamins I was taking that were vasodilators that I didn't know about. There was other things that I was taking. I was taking a lot of alpha lipoic acids and things like that now I know can cause healing to not go very well. So, recoil wasn't too bad, but I was still dealing with a lot of symptoms. Finally, one day I did some research, and I don't know how I came across it, but I came across the Understanding Vitamin B6 Toxicity website and started looking into it and was like, crap, this is really true. Because for that first 4 months, I thought, well, the symptoms are still happening. And my doctor, I forgot that part too. I don't have a script for this, so I'm winging it. My doctor did say it would take 6 months to maybe a year to heal, but I should be good in about 6 months if I come off energy drinks and stuff like that. He was very familiar with vitamin B6 toxicity. He was one of the few doctors that are really understanding of it, really pushes it, and we're passionate about it. And that's what he said popped in his head when I started telling the symptoms. But like a lot of doctors, they're not familiar on how to heal and the healing and how long term. They're just going off the original research that, hey, they popped some people full of B6 and then took them off of it and they got better in like 3 months. We don't, because we've been toxic for years and years. Like myself, I've probably been toxic for 10 plus years, but I know for a fact symptomatic for 6 years and 6 months. So when I found the website, it made sense. Things started clicking. I found the Facebook group and I started diving into it, and I didn't feel alone anymore. That was the biggest help to me, because before I was going through all this alone, I thought I was dying. I never thought anybody would find the cause. I really thought my doctors just didn't know, and any day now they would come back and say, okay, maybe it is MS and you are going to die and you're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life, kind of thing. So when I dived into the website, started looking into the protocol, started looking into my diet a little bit more, started really tracking in chronometer, and looking at what I was consuming every day, I was still toxic. I was still eating over RDA and not really realizing it because I wasn't tracking my food. I wasn't hydrating. I was still exercising every day. That's never stopped. But I wasn't really doing the other aspects. It was still staying in my system. Some of it would flush out, but I was still poisoning myself a little bit. Not as much, but still poisoning myself. So I really, really focused into it a little bit more. And then in September, I think it was, a new symptom popped up. And basically my esophageal sphincter stopped working, and I started regurgitating everything. Like just basically I'd eat something and it would come back up to like right here, and went and got on basically I can't even think about heartburn meds and stuff like that. I can't think of the name of it right now. A little bit of brain fog still floating around, but that's what really made me start diving more into the protocol and things like that. Up until then, maybe about 6 months into healing, I really wasn't doing the protocol. I was hydrating some, I was watching my food and exercising, but I wasn't on the protocol too much. Until that happened, I realized, okay, I've got to dive into this. So about 6 months, 7 months into my healing, that's when I really started the protocol and got really, I guess, religious into it. And then started diving into helping people on the website and on the Facebook group and things like that. So my symptoms got better. I had some flares here and there. Was in the middle of a theater play, opening night, and my autonomic symptoms flared up. And I think it was because we were rehearsing basically for 45 days straight. At night after work, we would rehearse, and I just stressed myself out. But right before we would go on stage, my blood pressure spiked and my head started burning, and I had to leave and go to the ED. Sucked. Life was crazy. I missed a lot of work. I missed a lot of shows. I had to stop coming off shows because just to deal with all this. And so it was crazy. But once I dived into the protocol, life got better. It started getting better. I started seeing my symptoms go away. I was having more and more periods of, I'm better. Life is looking good again. Actually, during that time, I think it was November and December, I went like a couple weeks with no symptoms. Maybe a few here and there. They were slight, but not bad. And then December, was it December? December last year. Oh no, it's been over a year now. So I'm running kind of weird on time, but yeah, it was December. So maybe it's October, November. I was symptom free, but anyway, December. I took a flight to Maryland and to do a work project, and got off the flight and couldn't swallow. I lost my swallow reflex. Just for a little bit. It was weird. Got better. A couple days later, I'm talking to a client. It goes away again. My mouth gets super dry. Lose my swallow reflex. Just really can't swallow. I have to focus to swallow. Freak out, but okay. I've learned to adjust my freakouts. Been in. Fly home, go to my doctor, and trying to figure out why am I losing my swallow reflex. Did a swallow study. Everything's great, but I started looking into my job, the toxicology aspect of it, and realized it's just another symptom. My nerves are refiring. Swallowing issues was one of my very, very first symptoms outside of the hands that probably happened before those symptoms came out. I had some swallow hiccups here and there, but nothing like this. And then January, rebound hit. And I hit rebound about 10 months, 9 to 10 months. Rebound hit hard. All my old symptoms came back. Even ones that weren't in recall. I got the coordination issues. Vertigo kicked in insanely hard. There was days I started painting my bedroom right when rebound hit, and I would go in and I would paint probably 30 minutes and then get so lightheaded and dizzy that I would have to go lay down on the couch the rest of the day. It took me literally a week and a half to paint my bedroom because I would go in there and paint a little bit, get dizzy, have to go sit down. So rebound lasted for about 4 months. I know this because I tracked my rebound. I tracked all my symptoms in my symptom journal. Green days are good days. Pink days are not good days, bad days. There's some days that are kind of orange in there, but finally there is April 2024. And you can see I had a lot of good days. But there were still symptoms in those good days. Yeah, great day. Minimum symptoms, much better. Bad day, very bad day. Yeah, I even did a film during these bad days, and that was crazy. Yeah. And then May, I stopped tracking it because I was basically better. But, yeah. And since then, rebound has kind of waned. I'm 90% better now. I would say some days I'm 95%, but I want to say 90 because I still have the swallow reflex. Comes back every once in a while. Once in a blue moon, I'll have some random flares pop up. I had a pretty bad flare that lasted about a week and a half, where some of my random symptoms came back. The swallow issue flared up. I had some vertigo, slight vertigo, not bad. But most of my, and sleeping's been sucked for probably a year, but it got better. And then it would get worse again. During one of my last flares that happened a month ago, my sleep went back down to like 4 hours. I would have sleep apnea. Honestly, I'd start dozing even on the couch, and it would like my lungs stopped working. I would have to wake up and force my lungs to work and start breathing again and like reset them. I had some blood pressure spikes here and there. My pulse rate spiked up too. But that lasted probably 3 or 4 or 5 days, something like that. And it would have a really bad day and then do this and wean off. And that's really how all my flares happen. All rebounds happen where it was peaked really high and then kind of waned down and got better. And even flares are just kind of, bam. However, not to scare everybody with the flares, but none of them. Rebound was probably as bad as toxicity, but it was better because I knew what I was dealing with. Toxicity, I had no clue. I was dying. But with this, when I hit rebound, because of the website, because of the Facebook group, I knew it was rebound. It took me a little while to figure it out that, hey, I'm in rebound and I'm just going to have to hang tight for a little while. But that was it. I knew it's rebound. I'll get better. I just have to bear with it and be patient. My flares, when they happen, now it's just annoying. It's not scary. They're probably 20% intensity. It's not anything bad. Like when my heart rate started going up and the pulse and blood pressure, I did get some anxiety for a little bit, thinking, "Oh God, what is this?" And then it just kind of, dude, it's B6. Of course, it's anxiety. That's part of our issue. I just came home, went on the couch. I'd watch it to make sure it didn't get too crazy where I may actually need to go to the hospital, but that's part of my anxiety too. And it was all good. Next day, gone. So throughout my whole journey, most of my symptoms happened in the night, in the afternoon and night. I would wake up every morning brand new. No symptoms whatsoever. And then once I got up, started moving around, then I would see what symptoms would kind of happen. Same with my rebound and flares. It's a pattern. 2 years into it, even when I have flares now, I just kind of shake it off and I know, okay, I'm having a flare. Who knows why? It could be I ate something that I shouldn't have. I probably didn't hydrate very well. I'm stressed. I just need to get back on track and go. So it's not as bad as it used to be. I know as toxic as I was for as long as I was, I'm going to be one of the longer ones to heal. I'm probably going to need another year to heal. I may actually need 2 years. I may need 4 years to heal. And I'm fine with that. Because right now at 2 years, I am 90% better. Even with the little flares I have, even with the issues. Today I had some swallowing issues. Okay, I adjust, I adapt, and I deal with it. Even when I was in rebound, it was wake up, see what today holds, and adjust. This helped through rebound, tracking my progress. It helped me keep an understanding of, hey, today is a bad day. Here's what I'm going through. And then to see my progression of how I'm getting better. This was February. Hold on. So there's January. And I could see, okay, I went through some bad days. Hey, I had a couple of good days. Oh, here's some more bad days. I had a lot more good days. I had a bad day. It helped keep perspective. I keep daily notes of my symptoms and would track them and what I was eating. I would still use chronometer, but I'm a written kind of person. So I kept track of everything. Here at 2 months, oh, thank God. At 2 years, I'm still hydrating, but I'm not strict on it. I'm still eating close to 100% RDA. I think yesterday I went 120% because I don't use chronometer anymore, mainly because I know my foods. I eat pretty much the same thing all the time. I'll do some more posts about my food. If you do a search on Facebook, you can actually see some of my food posts. You can see my journal post. I've made a lot of notes on there in the Facebook group. But I don't follow it strictly. I exercise a lot. I try to rest a lot, but I gauge my food just by habit now. Some days I go a little bit over, but I know now I could go over. I could eat. I had a cheeseburger the other day. Didn't worry about it. It didn't make me flare. If I do it too much and too long, like if I eat junk or I eat an 8-ounce chicken breast and a cheeseburger the next day and a steak or something, I'm going to have a flare. I'm going to be stupid. But I eat pizza. I eat a lot of sweets, a lot of junk, which is why this is kind of there. But I don't track it too much, but I'm 2 years in. In the beginning, I was strict. If I went 1% over, I adjusted the next day and I didn't do that again. I made sure to hydrate my 3 to 4 liters. I drank, this is 40 ounce. I drank 2 of these a day with salted. And I put sweetener, stevia sweetener in here, but that's just me. I know it's a little bit of vasodilator. But I drank 2 of these, and then I would hit another one at the end, along with Gatorade and coconut water. That was every day. And I usually woke up and would drink one of these while I was at the gym, and it would be gone by 9 in the morning. And then I would stagger throughout the day. But yeah, I was religious with it. Now, not so much, but I'm better. So that's the key with this is I'm better, much better. I'm still dealing with some symptoms, but I know I got a long road ahead. The key with, I guess, the healing journey is patience with all this. You're going to freak out. It's scary. You're dealing with things that one day new symptoms pop up and you've never had that symptom. When the swallowing thing came up, I searched for swallow and I didn't get all the exact answers I wanted because mine's different. But I knew there were some people in there that had swallowing issues and that were similar to mine. And some of them were like, yeah, it got better in a year. My swallow is now 1 year and 5 months still going on. I'm still having some issues. But it's better. It's better. Life gets better. Just hold on. Follow the protocol. Follow the science. Mainly because it's been tested and it's proven to work. There's some people in this group that may not believe fully in the protocol, or I've been doing it and I'm still having symptoms and stuff like that. And then we find out later that, okay, well, they just didn't hydrate. They didn't salt their water. They don't exercise. They're doing the diet and and the hydration, but they didn't exercise. Even though they're saying they're doing the protocol. You don't have to go and lift weights every day. You don't have to only eat berries. You need B6. Don't be scared of vitamin B6. You need it. We need it to heal. Just don't go over RDA. Don't go over 100% each day. Don't eat a chicken breast and broccoli and salmon and all that, and you're going to have symptoms. If you don't get B6, if you're scared of it and don't want to touch it and you get too low, that could cause some symptoms. We want to balance. We want to be patient. So follow the protocol and life will be better eventually. So lean on the Facebook group. That was my best saving grace as well. The Facebook group, helping people, talking to people, seeing other people that are there, going through the same thing helped as well. Beth and the other moderators, the other group experts helped tremendously. They brought me into their tribe and made me one of us. But they've been wonderful. So it's bear with them, bear with us as we try to help you out, because it gets overwhelming for us too. We're all healing as well, even though we're trying to help you. So keep that in mind with the moderators and the group experts. We're healing too. We may be having a bad symptom day as we're trying to help you through yours. So, but we're all on this journey together. So, Thank you for listening for almost 40 minutes. I know it's long. Actually, it's about to hit 40 minutes. I tend to babble, but I've never really talked a lot about my journey. I'm going to do more of these as I go on. Talk about little excerpts of things like how to do this, what do I eat in a day, things that help me on my journey, what are vasodilators and vasoconstrictors, all these things that some people are confused about that I do get messages about from people. So I'll do more of these to kind of help out, and they won't be as long, I promise. If you lasted this long on it, I send you my love from one survivor and sufferer to another. I send you positive energy for healing, and I wish you the very best. So thank you very much for listening to my story, and we will be talking. Bye.